Hello, my name is Mike. Hey, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Sister Wives season 17, episode 14. And before I start the video, I just want to talk about last week's video that did not get uploaded. And to say the least, I'm just burnt out. That's it. I'm still trying to produce content while I'm burnt out, and to say the least, it is not easy, so forgive me if the video uploading slows up by a lot. I'm just tired and I'm trying to find time to take a break. Please just work with me in this time period in my life. Enough of that, let's just get into the episode. When Cody, Mary, and Janelle are meeting up at Robin's house so Janelle can show everybody her house plan and where she wants to build the house. Basically, overall, what she's doing in general to see what everybody else is going to do and basically get a plan. Going to confession with Janelle, and she talks about how she keeps bothering Cody about the property so she can hopefully convince him at one point or another just to do something with the property and get the ball going. But Cody gets very irritated with that, but she's like, it's worth a try at least to see if it'll work. She really wants to do this so she can have an estate and something of her own so she won't leave her kids empty-handed, and so she'll just have something in general. Which at this point, it may be better just to go ahead and buy a house because I highly doubt Cody is going to build on that property. Actually, I know he isn't because Robin already has her perfect little house, so she's not in a rush to build on the property, of course. So Cody isn't either because whatever Robin wants, Cody wants, and vice versa. I think at this point, it's better for them just to sell the property, each get their cut, and do whatever they want with the money, rather it's buy a house, pay off that hella debt they have. Like, I have no idea where they've accumulated all this debt from. I do, but I don't, because it seems like they were living over their means, and that's how they ended up with a lot of debt, and they were buying unnecessary things. I believe that's how it really happened, but just neither here nor there. Going back to the scene, they're all sitting down talking about how weird it is for them since Christine left the family, and Cody comes out and says it's not a taboo thing, let's talk about it. And not that he's wrong, he's only saying it to bash Christine, not because he actually wants to talk about the situation and talk about how it has affected them all and where they can go from here. This is just to talk about how much he hates Christine and how much anger he has towards her, and how she broke his heart and this, that, and all the above. But anyways, Cody ends up turning to Mary and says she's acting weird. This is funny and kind of sad, but the only reason why it's funny is because, like any attention Cody slightly gives Mary, she's into a schoolgirl who's having like her first crush. Like, it's so odd to see, figuring that Mary is nearly 50 and Cody is somewhere around that age too. And I'm not saying older people can't still be lovey-dovey and all that stuff, but he's not even giving her anything to be like lovey-dovey about and like to really have that much of a reaction over, just the slightest attention. But it's also sad because their marriage is over and Cody's saying it's over. Mary kind of knows it's over. There's no kind of, she knows it's over, but she wants to continue living in the delusion that her and Cody will work it out. They will never work it out because Cody has no interest. It's never going to work out when only one person has an interest in working it out. If that's the case, then it's not going to work out, because in a relationship it takes two people to make it work, just not one person. Anyways, they do end up talking about Christine and basically how they were living these fake lives, and when Christine left, she brought the truth to basically all their relationships. Like, they're being dishonest with themselves and putting on the show for who they think they were, who they wanted to be, but that was never the reality of the situation. And I think this is kind of one of those weird moments, because it's like saying that he realizes that like they're being dishonest with themselves and all of that, but Cody is still being like a jerk, still being corroborative. I can't say that word. There are some words that I literally cannot say, so sorry for me mispronouncing corroborative. But my point is that Cody realizes everything but everyone else but himself, and those are the one type of self-aware people that I cannot, not self-aware, unself-aware people that I can't stand. So aware of everyone else but so unself-aware about yourself. Like, how does that even work? But Cody goes on and talk about how one of the situations that brought out the truth was in 2018 when Cody wanted everyone to live in one house. But Christine was not on board with it just because she liked her privacy and space, and she didn't want to see her husband being romantic with his other wives. But Christine was not the only one on the fence, so was everyone else, but they didn't have the nerve to tell Cody or speak up about it. I do not like how they're pushing this narrative that Christine is the only one who ever had problems with something and she was the most problematic one or something like that. Other people had plenty of issues with Cody's ideas and whatever else he was talking about, but they never had the nerve to speak up because for whatever reason, rather submission or them feel like it's pointless, whatever it may have been, but they didn't speak up. So I don't like how they pushed that Christine was the only one who had a problem with something when it was really everyone else. Especially on something like that, because Cody wanted this huge house that was gonna cost more than they probably have ever made in the past like 10 years. So I feel like that was the one of the things that they should have spoke up on, but they chose not to. But luckily it never played out and it ended up being fine. But anyways, this didn't really lead anywhere other than talking about how on top of COVID and this really exposed them for who they are. And basically how they need to fix them and solve them. But Cody says he doesn't know what the issues are, so he can't fix them. But Cody, the issue is you. That's why he can't find the issue. This is something I've never understood about Cody. He's always trying to find the issue. Point fingers here, point fingers here, but you never took the time just to realize that maybe you're just the issue. Like, a little self-reflection wouldn't kill you, at least in my opinion. In any like healthy relationship where there can be issues, like it's both of y'all, so taking time to reflect on each other but also yourselves. And Cody cannot seem to do the reflecting on yourself part, so he really needs to learn that, but he is literally a loony, so he probably will never learn that. And no one really got exposed. Y'all are just realizing who y'all are, so like sure where this exposing comes from, but whatever, Cody. But they go into talking about how it really hurt Robin once Christine left, which of course she started crying. And don't get me wrong, if you wanted to cry because there's too many birds in the sky, cry, let it all out. But I feel like Robin is crying in situations that either she caused or that she really isn't sad about or have any sympathy towards. She's only crying so other people can feel bad for her, and so she can use the victim card and have other people give her sympathy and feel bad for her. Then Cody also plays into it because, you know, she's the favorite wife, so it's like two against whoever else is against them, and it's just pitiful, let me say that. Like I said, she can cry if he's actually really hurt, but you're not hurt, you're just faking it, and you caused this a little bit too, so let's not act like you didn't. But anyways, we go to a confessional with Mary. She talks about the parallels between Christine and Cody's marriage and her marriage with Cody, and basically how they're both feeling and the separation and the distance between them, and how he also treats her, and she's just not where to go from here because she feels stuck. But I kind of don't get why she's stuck on and what's like making this decision so hard for her, because Cody is obviously falling out of love with her and has no interest in rekindling their relationship between them. So it's kind of like, what are you doing? Maybe she's still holding on to hope, but you hold on to hope if it's actually still there, but if it's not there, then you're holding on to literally nothing. Anyways, going back to the scene, Robin speaks up and says, if you don't want to be here, then say that so we can get past it and move on and get rid of whatever doesn't need to be here and build on what we need to build on. She didn't say that, but that's basically what she said though. Then Mary says that she's here 100% and everyone knows that, but we go to Cody and Cody says it doesn't really matter if Mary's here or not because he doesn't want to be in a relationship with her, so her vote really doesn't count. He's really looking for Janelle and Robin, not Mary. This is something I don't understand about Cody. If he does not want to be in a relationship with Mary, then they just don't need to be together. Like, I feel like at some point somebody needs to make the initiative for the relationship to be over, rather it's Mary or Cody, just so we can stop seeing Mary look for hope in a hopeless marriage and stop Cody from like dragging her along technically. I mean, he's not even dragging her along, she's dragging herself along, but we don't want to see that anymore. Like, that's not really fair or right to herself, and it's also kind of sad, so we just like to see her move on and do better. That's it. But anyways, Garrison and Gabe end up coming up in the conversation. Janelle, it's basically like, you and the kids need to solve out whatever issue you have because it's making very hard for me since I'm the middleman. On top of that, it's only making things more difficult for holidays and birthdays and stuff like that for obvious reasons, and we're seeing it play out as we speak. The main issue is that Gabe and Garrison feel very unwelcomed by Cody. Robin is acting all confused, which I'm not sure why, because Cody tells her everything, so she should know what happened between them and why they would feel uncomfortable, or would at least prompt that, even if she doesn't agree with them how they feel uncomfortable. And of course Cody is unaware of how they feel uncomfortable, but Janelle just wants this whole thing to be over, so she wants to choose between Cody and the kids. But if she does have to choose, she will choose the kids over Cody, especially on holidays and stuff, because I believe on this specific holiday, I think it was Thanksgiving, that most or all of Janelle's kids were going to be in one house together, and they all live in different states, have their own thing going on, so when was that ever going to happen again, and why wouldn't she want to be there? But anyways, Robin starts crying because she's trying to somehow defend Cody by him treating his sons like literal crap, by saying he's afraid everyone's going to treat him like how Christine has treated them and just to leave and walk out on his life, especially with women. And now he just has, like, no one say like a woman hate train, but that's basically what it is really. For a lot of men, once they get screwed over by women, it's just like this woman hate train from this point on until like they literally die. I'm not saying women don't do that too, because they definitely do, but I feel like with Cody and like for a lot of men, it just goes off the deep end and you literally cannot take them serious, and all you can do is laugh. So Cody's like one of those people that you just have to laugh at him from like asking yourself and asking him, is he like literally dumb? Because literally that's how they sound. They sound illiterate and dumb. I go to confessional with Cody, and he talks about how marriage is very difficult for men, and basically it's the woman's fault why it's difficult. This is one of those moments where I just have to laugh instead of dissecting what the problem is with statements, so you don't get upset about how dumb it is. And I'm not saying women can't be the problem in a marriage, but more times than not, it's both people for why the marriage isn't working. It's just not one person. Basically, in modern day, men don't get anything out of marriage, and I don't find that to be true personally, nor am I a man, but I feel like you do get stuff out of marriage when like you're a good husband, like a good partner. But if you're like a trash partner, then no, you don't get anything because you're not giving anything. It's kind of like a marriage works, you exchange each other's love and all that stuff. Basically what y'all have to offer to each other, but Cody doesn't do that, so that's maybe why he feels like that, because you shouldn't get anything if you're not giving anything, basically. At least in my opinion when it comes to marriage. But anyways, we're going to let go of that because Janelle had to go pick up Savannah, so the conversation ended up ending. Anyways, Janelle finally moved out of the RV and she moved into an apartment. It's very small, but only her and Savannah, so there was really no need to get a huge house or anything. Cody didn't help her move in because he was dealing with COVID once she did move, which sometimes I wish they would focus less on Cody a little bit, because I feel like we should have seen Janelle move instead of just Cody complaining about having COVID. I mean, I'm not saying COVID isn't serious, because it is, and it's very deadly, but balance the show off a little bit, you know? We go to the confessional with Savannah. She talks about how she's happy to be out of the RV and living in a home now, because things like getting water were such a big inconvenience living in the RV, but now that she's in a home, that's no longer an issue. And also, when she was living in the RV, her dad was spending less time with her because he did not like living in the RV, but hopefully since they live in the apartment, they'll come over and be around more, but just in general, because as the years have gone on, he has started spending less and less time with her. She understands because Robin has younger children and his younger children need his attention, but she still wants him to spend time with her. And I'm sorry, but just because you don't like being in a certain place or being in a certain area doesn't mean you don't spend time with your kid. It's not about you, it's literally about your kid. So like, Cody has just irritated me this episode, but he irritates me every single episode, so is there anything really new? No. But speaking of Cody, when he gets on the apartment, he's complaining. He thinks it's small and there's not enough room, which it is kind of a small apartment. It's better than the RV, and you're not even gonna be over here a whole lot, so take what you can get, Cody. Cody says he likes the nicer things in life. Then if you want the nicer things in life, go stay at Robin's house and stay there forever, and don't bother Janelle, Mary. Well, he don't be bothering Mary anyways, but leave other people alone if you like the nicer things in life, and go be where the nicer things are, which we all know where the nicer things are. But we are going to move on to Christine. Christine is finally living in Utah, living her best life. She is grilling outside with her daughter Aspen, Truly, and her daughter's husband, which I forgot what his name is, but we're just going to call him Aspen's husband. She's been spending a lot of time with her family, like her children, her sisters, and her parents. She feels at home, but when she goes back to Flagstaff, it's super hard for her because earlier in the season, when they first thought about moving to Flagstaff, she ended up seeing these mountains, and I think she called them Angel Mountains. The angels were singing to her, something like that, and all she could think about is the angel mountains or the angels singing, whichever she said. I think she just said like angels singing. I don't know where I got angel mountains from, but you know what I'm talking about. And after Robin misunderstood what Christine said about them having a relationship in the near future. But to be honest, I think it's for the best that it played out how it did, because I don't think Robin is a healthy person for Christine. Because no matter what, even if Christine is divorced from Cody and she chooses to have a relationship with Robin, that is still having a relationship with Cody. Romantically, but Cody and Robin are somewhat the same person, I feel, because it's like, all those couples, like, they just tell each other everything, so at that point you might as well just talk to both of them. I think it's one of those situations, so it just be best that the relationship is left where it's at. But moving on to Cody, Robin, Janelle, and Mary all sitting around a bonfire, and how they need to figure out what they're going to do for the holidays, because Janelle is going to her daughter's Maddie's for Thanksgiving, and for Christmas she'll be here because all of her children will be coming to her. They're gonna rent an Airbnb because the kids don't feel comfortable, specifically Garrison and Gabe not feel comfortable around Robin and Cody. The only way things can be less tense is if the boys apologize to Cody and basically own up to something that they never did or they don't feel like they were wrong for doing. Cody said he never said that, but Cody literally did say that on and off camera, because we've seen it, and Janelle talks about how he had said that before. Overall, when it comes to this situation, I think it's just a mutual respect thing, because both of his sons are adults and so is he, so just respect your son's decisions and I think they'll respect yours. And also, he's a bit of a hypocrite, so I can understand how it would be hard to respect his decisions and his choices, but I can see in the previous seasons that they were at least trying. Cody isn't trying, and he thinks he's still in control of these grown men when it's simply just not like that anymore, because they're not children. But anyways, Cody is upset that he was the last one to find out about the plans, but children feel unwelcome, so of course you're gonna be the last one to know, and you're not included in the plans, so you really don't matter. He feels like Janelle is putting him up against the boys, but it's not that. When you're wrong, you're wrong. When you're right, you're right. Plus, those are her children. I would hope Janelle would stand by her kids before she stands by Cody. But anyways, Janelle and Cody get into this argument about the COVID rules and basically how Janelle was following the CDC rules, not Cody's rules, which that's what created the problem. But the problem with Cody's rules is that it protected Robin and her kids and of course Cody, and it didn't protect anybody else. And one thing, you've had everybody else in mind, but he didn't. He only had his family with Robin in mind. So I feel like that's why they just didn't follow his rules. And then plus, I would rather follow the CDC instead of Cody's rules, because even with Cody's rules, Robin and him still caught COVID. Obviously, the rules weren't working, and then plus, I feel like COVID is just one of those things that, like, either catch it or you don't, and all it takes is being around one wrong person doing one wrong move, you can catch it, and you just can't isolate in your house, not go to work, not go to the grocery store. At least a lot of people can't. Even if you're, like, not going out and being, like, around friends and a family, like, going out and doing activities, you still have chances of catching it by just going to the grocery store or just handing your coworker some type of papers or something and you end up touching their hand. But anyways, this is not a rant about COVID. This is a rant about Cody and his dumb COVID rules. But he felt disrespected, but I feel like Cody wants everyone to submit to him and just not have questioned anything and just go along with it like a child. And I feel like that's unrealistic for any adult to do for another adult, or anybody for that matter. And it's just dumb, because why would you see you're gonna fall off a cliff but the leader doesn't, but you just aren't gonna say anything because you know, oh, he's the leader, he's the head, so whatever he says goes. Like, no, if we're gonna fall off a cliff, I'm telling you, so I can prevent both of us from dying. And on top of that, being in a polygamous relationship, submission wasn't going to work from the jump. There's way too many people involved, there's way too many emotions, different perspectives involved just to be followed following this one person, no questions, no buts, no say-sos or anything. I just think that's ridiculous. And on top of that, they have children, so you wouldn't want your children to be put in any harm's way or have to make really drastic changes just for the situation not to work out, even though they've literally done that before. But anyways, you wouldn't want your child to have to go through that just because the supposed head of your family wants to do that. I just don't think it's right or fair. This is all really funny to me because Robin holds the upper voice and the upper hand when it comes to Cody and his opinions and all of that, but she can see there's gonna be an issue and won't say anything about it and will just stay silent. Because I've dealt with people like this in my own life, I can feel the frustration that the wives would have at times because you have the upper voice, the upper hand, and you're still not saying anything, even though you know what's wrong with it, but you're just going along with it for the hell of it. Like, just don't understand it, but maybe it's not meant for me to understand. But anyways, I didn't run on this little rant about Cody and all this mess. But back to the argument between Janelle and Cody. As the argument goes on, Janelle gets up and leaves because she's done hearing Cody's nonsense and basically blaming her for everything, but somehow Robin convinces her to sit back down and continue the conversation. Cody ends up apologizing and saying that he was just frustrated with the situation, and that's fine, but tone it down a bit. You know, this is something I cannot stand about certain people is when certain people get in arguments or disagreements, they get very overly aggressive, and it's making me feel like do something and I'm gonna feel very uncomfortable and very unsafe. Like, please stop. Maybe that's just me. This makes me extremely uncomfortable, maybe from like trauma or something, but like just sit down and act like you were raised with some sense. Anyways, everything has just been stressing him out on top of Christine leaving and him feeling like COVID caused Christine to leave, which you were just a bad husband and a bad father. Like, that's it. And I do not think I talked about this earlier, and I think I may have accidentally skipped over it, but Isabel and Truely are going to be in town for Christmas too because she wants to see Janelle's kids, and their dad is literally in Flagstaff. And is unhappy about that because he felt betrayed, but she's literally the mother of your children. You're going to have to deal with her for many more years, so get over it and deal with it. I don't think co-parenting is fun for a lot of people, but it's not fun in general. Like, it's not meant to be fun, not meant to be for you, it's meant for your children, so deal with it. But anyways, going back to him talking about why Christine left, I cannot get into that because we all know it's not true, so I'm gonna leave that alone. Robin tries to validate his feelings, and I get that. Like, I don't think anyone should feel invalidated in their feelings. I don't think you should play into people's delusion either though. And she goes on to play into his delusion when he says that Christine would have never gotten a divorce if they would have moved to Utah. It was never about Utah, but we all know that, so I'm going to leave that one alone too. It goes into like this little deep thing about his marriages, but I don't have time for that. But that was the end of the episode. Sorry this video is like 2 weeks late, but it's getting uploaded, so it's fine. Like, comment, subscribe if you want, and bye.